ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। It's hard to just start the fight scene after almost 2 weeks of break, but the fighting is continuing. The fighting is continuing. Sugriva has killed Kumbha, the son of Kumbhakarna. There is great joy in the army of the Vanaras, and then there is great anger, despondency, perhaps fear, and a heightened sense of avenging the death of Kumbha. So Kumbha's brother Nikumbha, they all have the same last name, Kumbha. Father's name was Kumbhakarna. Kumbha was the name of the one son. Nikumbha was the same name of the other one. So Nikumbho Bhrataram Drashtva Sugriveena Nipatitam Pradhan Iva Kopena Vanarendram Udaikshat. When Nikumbha saw his brother Kumbha was thrown to the ground, Nipatitam Sugrivena, thrown to the ground by Sugriva, Nikumbha became angry. How? Pradahan Ivakopena. His anger was such as if he would burn. He would burn whom? Vanarendram. Vanara Indra, the king of the Vanaras, Sugriva. And how did he convey his anger? Udaikshata. He saw. His eyes became big, red in color. Have you ever had that experience when you've been in the presence of a very angry person and they look at you angrily? I've seen my father would get sometimes angry, and first thing is his eyes would become big, and you could see in his eyes. Possibly I may have glared at someone like that. I'm not aware of. Maybe I did. But sometimes the anger is shown in the eyes. So, but perhaps not like Pradahan Eva. Pradahan Eva Kopena Vanarendra Mudekshata. He said, enough words. I am going to go fight with Sugriva. He carried his gada. And this gada was decorated with wreaths and festoons. It was not an ordinary gada, it was a very celebrated gada with which he had fought many, many wars. It was massive gada. And when he carried it, it looked like the peak of the Mahendra mountain on his shoulder. It was plated with gold and decked with diamonds and corals and looked like the rod Yamaraj carries. Hema Patta Parikshitam. Parikshitam. Hema Patta. The golden covering on it. Gold leaf. I shouldn't say leafed, but covered with gold. Vajra Vidrum. Vajra Vidruma Bhushitam. Vidruma. Vidruma is corals. Vajra, diamonds. Yamadandopamam. It looked like the rod Yamaraj carries. Bhimam Rakshasam Bhayanashanam. And as soon as he carried that on his shoulder, Rakshasam Bhayanashanam, it removed the fear of all the Rakshasas. Or in a general sense, it would remove the fear of all Rakshasas. Just the way when one meditates on the Supreme Lord, Sri Ramachandra, as Kodandapani, carrying the bow and arrow in his hand, it removes the fear from the hearts of the devotees. To see Sri Krishna as Sarangapani, carrier of the Saranga bow or Sudarshana Chakra or his Gada, it removes the fear in the hearts of the devotees, because these are signs of protectiveness. And so the Rakshasas have their godlike person, Nikumba. So he carried this weapon and he was brandishing it to uh, cast fear, to remove fear from the Rakshasas and put the Vanaras into fear. And opened his mouth wide and roared, ready for war, going to fight with the Vanaras, especially Sugriva. And when he carried the Gada on his shoulder, he was dark complexioned. With carrying this Gada, it looked like a rain cloud with a flash of lightning in it. Generally, the beautiful dark cloud with a flash of lightning, we as devotees have this idea that that is like Radha and Krishna. Dark hued Krishna with a flash of golden lightning on him. So they're together. But in this case, each person, because of their drishti, can see the same thing in a transcendental way or in an ordinary way. So for the Rakshasas, it looked like the massive rain cloud with a flash of lightning accompanying that cloud. And there was thunder and clash because Nikumba is roaring. So Nikumbha, Valmiki gives all descriptions from a astronomical or what happens in the world type situations to compare. These are all analogies or similes to show how formidable Nikumbha was. And when Nikumbha is walking out of Lanka to come fight with the Vanaras, with angry countenance, his wrath exuding to everyone, one might think that the Vanaras were afraid. But Valmiki says that even the Rakshasas became afraid, stabdha, just stunned. Rakshasa Vanarascha api na shekuhu spanditum bhayat. Shekuhu means were able to spandita, were able to move or react. Bhayat. They were just stunned, with their mouth agape. However, there's one person. Hanuman stamstu vivrutayor uratostatau pramukho bali. Pramukhato. He was standing in front of the Vanara army with Ura. Urasa means by his chest wide and standing fearlessly in front of Nikumba. So Nikumbha was already angry, and you know when you enter a room, no, I should say you, when someone who's very uh, proud of their accomplishments enters a room and everyone bows down or supplicates themselves, they feel even stronger. But if there is one person or a few who challenge that or don't offer their respects, then the person becomes very angry. Daksha Prajapati, the most qualified Brahmana in the universe, when he walked into the assembly of the Devatas, everybody got up except two people. Lord Brahma, because he is the father. The father cannot stand up and show respect to his son like that, although the respect may be in the heart. And Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the son in law. But Lord Shiva was with his eyes closed. He's one of those devotees who's always, as they say in Hindi, Mastaram. He is so absorbed in chanting the names of Rama, Krishna, Sankarsana. He was lost in that thought, so he did not get up. Everybody bowed down to Daksha. Daksha could have been happy with that. But there is something about pride. It has a very unique symptom. The unique symptom is that pride blinds and deafens the person to see how many people have offered respect, but will only focus on the one or two that don't. Daksha could have ignored. Actually, it was not even Lord Brahma because he knew Lord Brahma should not stand up anyway. It was Lord Shiva. His pride did not allow him to see that all the devatas stood up and offered their respects, except Lord Shiva did not. And his whole anger was about Lord Shiva. Same with Hiranyakashipu. Everybody in the universe was afraid of him. One little boy, 5-year-old boy, Prahlada. Now, Hiranyakashipu would have said, who cares for a little child? Look at what the universe is so bowing down to me and on fear of me. I would raise my eyebrows and the whole devatas would shiver out of fear. What would Hiranyakashipu do to us? But his entire problem was because of one person. That one person made Hiranyakashipu's life miserable. He didn't even want to make Hiranyakashipu's life miserable. Hiranyakashipu's life became miserable because of one child, and that too his own child that he had named Prahlada. Hlada means joy, love, affection. Prahlada, intensely joy. He was the one who gave the greatest joy to Hiranyakashipu, but he was stuck with this one fellow, one young boy, Nikumbha. Not only is the enemy stunned in fear, even his own enemy, even his own army is stunned by his appearance, his presence, his gada, his power, except Hanuman. And for that one person, Nikumba became so angry that he moved fast towards Hanuman. That celebrated gada he lifted and crushed it on Hanuman's chest. Parighopamam mahabahastu parigham bhaskara prabham. Bhaskara Prabham. It was glowing like the sun. No one can look at the sun directly. Your eyes will get damaged, destroyed completely. It was so brilliant that Parigha, the Gada type weapon, Bali Balavattasya Pataya Masa Vakshasi, hit it on Hanuman's chest. If someone is hit like that, previously when this guy would hit somebody on the chest, devatas or whoever, the devatas would just fall on the ground unconscious, spitting blood or something. However, our wonderful Hanuman स्थिरे तस्यो रसी व्यूढे परिगः शतधा कृतः विकीर्ण्य विकीर्यमाणः सहसा उल्का इवाम्बरे. As soon as that gada hit Hanuman's chest, pow, that whole gada split into 100 parts, into splinters, and flew everywhere. But Hanuman is standing with his broad chest and nothing. The gada split into 100 pieces and fell everywhere like meteors fly and fall from the sky. And not even a little bit did Hanuman shake from being hit on the chest. Satu tena praharena na chachala mahakapi. Not even shake a little bit, that mahakapi. Parigena samadhuto yatha bhumi chale achalaha. Sometimes when earthquakes happen, everything else on the surface of the earth shakes and falls and breaks, except mountains. Mountains don't shake. Therefore, they are called achala, immovable. So, samadhuto yatha bhumi chale achalaha. Like a mountain would not shake even in an earthquake. Now, how dare somebody bring down a massive gada on Hanuman's chest? So now Hanuman clenched his fist and pow! With great strength, vehemence, Hanuman gave a mighty blow on Nikumbha's chest. You hit Hanuman on the chest, not you, Nikumbha. You hit me on the chest. I will also hit you back on the chest. Tamudyama Mahateja Nikumbho Urasi. Nikumbho Urasi. On Nikumbha's chest. Viryavan Abhichikshepah Vegena Vegavan Vayu Vikrama. And hit it with such speed and velocity and strength on Nikumbha's chest. The Nikumbha was wearing a golden armor. Hmm. Hanuman's fist punch was so hard that the entire armor broke. It crushed Nikumba's chest and blood just shot forth from his chest. It looked like as if lightning came out of a dark cloud. Now Nikumbha staggered, his head reeling with that uh, punch. And although he's reeling, in his strength, he caught hold of Hanuman and carried him away. He captured Hanuman and started walking away. And the Lanka Vasis, the Rakshasa, started roaring loudly, "Oh, what a wonderful warrior Nikumbha is! That even when Hanuman hit him and his chest is bleeding, he still carried Hanuman." So while Hanuman is being carried away by Nikumbha, Hanuman one more time with his fist clenched hit Nikumbha hard. And it hit Nikumbha, the fist hit Nikumbha so hard that Nikumba's clutch on Hanuman loosened and Hanuman quickly jumped up from that position and very quickly, before Nikumba could figure out what was going on, punched him one more time and threw Nikumba down on the ground and crushed him completely. And when Nikumba is on the ground, Hanuman jumped up and came landing right on Nikumba's chest. It was not only fist, Now, the entire body of Hanuman, and Hanuman is a Mahayogi. You can imagine when he presses down on Mount Mahendra, which is solid rock, became pulverized like powder. That whole place got crushed completely. We heard detailed description. Imagine Hanuman falling on the chest of Nikumba. And once he fell on Nikumba's chest, Nikumba became immobile. Hanuman held the head of Nikumba and twisted his neck. It's like a movie scene. Huh? And twisted his neck and completely separated the head from the body and roared loudly. Parigruhya cha bahubhyam, with his hands, parigruhya, held it tightly, parivritya shirodharam, and twisted his neck. Utpatayamasa shiro bhairavam nadato mahat. Utpatayamasa, and broke away that head from the body, and Bhairavam nadato, and cried or yelled and shrieked loudly in a way that was striking fear in the hearts of everyone. And Nikumba, from that pain, was crying very loudly and immediately got killed in combat by Hanuman, combat with Hanuman. So Valmiki says, while this is happening, on the side there, Sri Ramachandra is fighting with Makaraksha, the son of Khara. And there the fight is going on in such a way that Makaraksha became very, very angry. Now, two things are happening. Sri Rama is fighting with Makaraksha. Hanuman twisted Nikumba's neck and separated the head and was roaring loudly. The whole battle scene, there is yelling and shouting and roaring and crying and loud cacophony of sounds. The Vanaras are celebrating Hanuman's victory over Nikumba. And at this time, when they saw Nikumba also die, and if you're noticing that with each chapter, the grade of the warrior that is going on is higher and higher and higher. Although Kumbhakarna went, but Nikumba and Kumbha are supposedly stronger. The people who are left behind are Indrajit and Ravana. Although Ravana came once into the battlefield and sent away, they think, right? Not yet. So Makaraksha and Sri Ramachandra are fighting there. I can't remember if, yeah, Ravana came in the battlefield, I think. Now, when Makaraksha heard that Nikumba was killed, Makaraksha became even more angry, and so did Ravana. Nikumbham nihatam shrutva, kumbham cha vinipatitam. Ravana, now getting the news that both Kumbha and Nikumba have been killed. Ravana, Parama Amarshi, became extremely angry. Prajjajvala nalo yatha, and started burning like anala, fire. We hear, no? Samsara davanala, forest fire. Prajjajvala analo yatha, burning with anger. But that anger has grief in it. Not all angers are the same. This one has grief in it because he's losing his near and dear ones. I was going to ask at the end of the session whether you still like me to continue like this, detailed chapter after chapter, because the fighting is not done yet. There is a lot more to happen. Do you have the patience for it? Is that interest, not just patience, is your interest being held by the descriptions that Valmiki is giving? Now, before you say yes or no, and you can say it at the end of the session, one thing that I'm appreciating is why would Valmiki, who's such a Rasika Bhakta, giving all the sweet, loving exchanges between Sita and Rama and Hanuman and Sri Rama, Rama Sugriva, Hanuman's conversations with Sita Devi, juice after juice after juicy topics, is describing the gory nature of this war, although all the rasas need to be here. So there is Virya Rasa, there is Bhayanaka, Ghora. Imagine if you can visualize Hanuman twisting the head of Nikumba, blood fruit. This is Ghora Rasa. It is one of the rasas. And the detail is there. What I was appreciating is these are all the chapters describe in different ways Anartha Nivriti. Anartha, they're all unrequired, not required. They're all the armies or the different extensions of the things that the mind plays games with the sadhaka, with the jiva, the atma, who's trying to reach Sri Rama. So, Anartha Nivriti is boring, if you will, if that's how you feel. It has Bhayanaka, Ghora rasas in it. There are some victories, there are some failures, sometimes victorious, sometimes failing, sometimes overwhelmed, sometimes joyful. That is my spiritual master calls it the Anishtita Bhakti. Sometimes this, sometimes this. And one should not be disturbed by it. What is encouraging is that Sri Rama is there in the battlefield, he's involved. His associates, Hanuman, Sugriva, all of the different, the smaller ones. So, in a person's life, one should not consider that only the mighty, big personalities make a difference. Even little small ones who are representatives of the Lord in different ways give us little joy, little inspiration, strength, resolve. So there are a lot of people, lot of devotees helping us through our journey of Anartha Nivriti. In that sense, it is inspiring. So you can think about whether you want the details, or we all love, what's on the other side of Anartha Nivriti? Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema coming up. But right now is the Maha Anartha Nivriti. Makaraksha. Makara, crocodile. Aksha, eyes like. So either Makaraksha means eyes in the shape of a crocodile, because when we refer to Devi, Sita Devi, and we say she has Meenakshi. Now, Meenakshi not necessarily means eyes shaped in the form of a fish. It means the eye shape in the form of fish, but also the nature of the eyes. Fish are all they never stand still, they're always moving. But it never means Meenakshi like the eyes of a fish. The eyes of a fish are horrible looking, one round. So not Meenakshi like that, but Makaraksha. Eyes shaped like that of a crocodile, one can say. Or because this guy is a Rakshasa, crocodile has a very big body and very tiny eyes. Makaraksha. Either way. Now, Makaraksha became angry and sad that, Nikumba was killed. And so angrily challenged Sri Ramachandra. So Ravana now inspired Makaraksha to fight against Ramachandra's army. And since he is Khara's son, Khara is a step brother or cousin, if you will, of Ravana. Not cousin, I think is a, what's it called? Not step brother, but some brother. And son of it would be his own son. Gacha putra maya agya. Go by my order. Balena samanvitaha raghavam lakshmanam chaiva jahi tau savanaukasau. Sorry. Go and kill Rama Lakshmana along with their forest dwellers. Vana aukasa. the monkeys, the Vanaras. Well, he was so happy to get a chance to go fight in the battlefield. One may say, "Hey, can Ravana and Makaraksha not understand that they are dying one after the other? Then what is the enthusiasm to go on the battlefield?" So think of it as they all see it as a game. And let's say you're playing cricket or some game, and you see your previous batsman falling quickly one after the other, then the person who previously had played well feels, I can save the game. They never think, what? It's over. No, no need. Every person comes in and face the fast bowler or spin, whatever it is, with as much zeal as if they're the opening batsman for the. So they're thinking, oh, I can do this. I can do this. So Bakaraksha greeted Ravana, circumambulated Sri Ravana, took his blessings, and ordered, bring my chariot and get my army ready. So quickly the Lankavasis got his chariot ready and his army all became ready. Makaraksha circumambulated his chariot and told his chariot driver, like Arjuna told his chariot driver, Senoyor Ubhayor Madhye, Ratham Stapayave Achyuta, full confidence. This fellow said, Pradakshinam Ratham Krutva, Samaruhya Nishachara, Samaruhya, climbed onto this chariot and sat like a grand warrior. Sutam, to his chariot driver, Sanchodayamasa, inspired him. Shigram vai Rathamavaha, carry my chariot very quickly onto the battlefield. And gave orders to all of his Rakshasas. Yuyam sarve prayudhyavadhyam purastamanam Purastan Mama Rakshasaha, all of you go ahead of war, march ahead of me and fight with the greatest intensity on this battlefield. I have been commanded by Ravana to now kill Rama Lakshmana. Very quickly, Rama, Lakshmana, Sugriva, and all the Vanaras will be killed. I will throw my spears, arrows, lances at them, and one by one they will all be finished, just the way fire consumes wood. Hmm? The more wood you pour, more wood you supply, fire becomes hungrier and it devours wood like anything. So Makaraksha's army started tumultuously roaring. Now, the last chapter finished with Rama fighting with Makaraksha. So then Valmiki takes us back to what happened. Why suddenly Makaraksha is fighting with Ravana? So Valmiki is taken us back to what happened in Ravana's palace and how Makaraksha came onto the battlefield. That's the connection. And as they are all going into the battlefield, now there are some signs. The army of Makaraksha is pounding on their kettle drums, sounding their bugles, and making heavy, intense war cries. While that is happening, and the army is clapping their arms and announcing to the enemies that they are entering the battlefield. At that time, the whip in the hand of the chariot driver of Makaraksha's chariot fell from his hand. It slipped all of a sudden. Prabhashto athakarat tasya pradodat sarathes papata sahasa daivad, by chance or by providential situation, when the whip slipped, hmm, uh, the horses started to gallop, not in unison, but there was some order got disturbed. And so the chariot ride became very bumpy, and the long, they call it the standard, like a flag that is pole that is on the chariot for everybody to see. Oh, that is Makaraksha's chariot. When Arjuna would go through the battlefield, everybody would know that is Arjuna on the battlefield, because there would be a flag and Hanuman on that flag. So the ride became so bumpy that that entire pole that was on the chariot crashed, broke, and fell down. And the horses that were yoked to the chariot, because they're not galloping together in unison, was so much that the horses started crying. Hmm. These are all signs that Makaraksha may not live too long. Hmm. Makaraksha it didn't matter to him. He still commanded the chariot driver to keep going. They came into the battlefield. Seeing all of these omens or premonitions, yet ignoring, hmm, Makaraksha went to where Sri Rama and Lakshmana were. Now, Makaraksha, as he was heading towards Sri Rama and Lakshmana, I may not be able to finish this chapter. I thought I would. They all leaped with great joy. Hmm. And from that side, when the Vanara saw Makaraksha coming, even the Vanara generals jumped with great joy and stood in a line, in an array, with all intending to fight with Makaraksha. So the Vanaras and the Rakshasas are fighting like anything, and they are crushing each other. They are punching, scratching, biting, kicking. They're being pierced with lances and maces and being hit like it is just complete chaos. So the son of Khara was shooting arrows and hitting so badly that the monkeys were running away with fear, because they were completely bewildered seeing Makaraksha fight. Now, when the monkeys were fleeing, then the Rakshasas are now roaring with this joy that they will be victorious on the battle. Even the well-known monkeys, it just says, we don't know who they are. Vidravatsu tada teshu vanareshu samantataha Ramastan varayamasa sharavarshena rakshasan. Sharavarshena. Khara's son Makaraksha was releasing arrows like rain. And yet, while the Vanaras are scattering in the battlefield, Ramachandra shot arrows to protect the Vanaras from that shower of arrows. So imagine how many arrows Ramachandra is shooting that formed like an umbrella, not physically like an umbrella, but did not allow the rain of arrows to come and pierce the Vanara bodies. Now, when Makaraksha saw that Ramachandra, mere mortal young man, not even 40, young man compared to Treta Yuga lifespan, very young. And Makaraksha is much older, stronger, if you will, more experienced. Makaraksha saw Ramachandra and challenged him and said, "Oh, Rama, I am coming to fight with you. Don't leave the battlefield. Tishtha Rama Maya Sardham Dvanda Yuddham Bhavishyati. Tishtha, stay there, Rama. A great battle will happen between you and me. Tyajayishyami te pranan dhanur muktair shitai sharaihi. I will release you from your life heirs. Tyajayityashyami. I will separate your life from your body. And how? Dhanur Mukta, from my bows I will release very sharp arrows. I remember you killed my father in Janasthan. And from that time, I have been waiting for a chance to avenge the death of my father Khara. I was waiting. My limbs were itching to fight with you because I was not there. Or more arrogantly, you did not see me in that battle in Janasthan, because if you had seen me, you would not have been alive. Somehow, today, by good fortune, you have caught my sight. He's not saying I've caught your sight. You have caught my sight. Dishtayasi darshanam Rama. Dishtayasi. It is your fortune that you are looking at me. Hmm? It's your fortune that you're getting a chance to fight with a warrior like me. Hmm? And I am like a lion who's hungry and sees an ordinary animal in the forest. Kankshitosi kshuddhartasya simhasya toro mragaha. Simhasya iva itaro mragaha. When a hungry lion looks at a deer, great. I will be as satisfied as a lion will be to fight, and I will be as powerful as Yamaraj and send you to the abode of Yama. Oh, Rama, take my advice. If you are really the Kshatriya that you say, let's fight. Too much talking. No fighting. Let people around us see what it means to really fight with me. Let's show people the strength that you have and the strength of what I have. Hmm? Let's see the weapons you have and see the weapons I have. Laughing and roaring at Ramachandra. Now, when Ramachandra heard the useless words of Makaraksha, what happens? Ramachandra started laughing. Makaraksha vachah shrutva Ramo Dasharathatmajah abravit prahasan vakyam uttarottaravadinam. As Ramachandra is speaking back and laughing, Makaraksha wouldn't shut up. He's continuously talking. He's constantly talking. He's not listening to what Ramachandra said. Ramachandra is laughing at him. So Ramachandra said, Kathaste kim vritha. Why are you unnecessarily, wastefully boasting? Narane shakyate jetum vina yuddhena vag balat. Oh Makaraksha. People who talk but don't do have no value. Talk is cheap. Show it to me. You sitting there and boasting. Do you really have the strength to fight? Hmm? Do you know 14,000 Rakshasas, including your father, not including your father, Trishira and Dushana, were killed by me in the forest. Chaturdasha Sahasrani Rakshasam Tvat Pita Yaha Trishiraha Dushanaschapi Dandake Nihito Maya. In Dandakaranya, I finished everyone. You're one. I killed more than 14,000 soldiers, including your father. Now, when he says your father, imagine the Kshatriya uh, way of provocating the other person's anger. Not only that, when I killed them, all the vultures, jackals, crows with sharp beaks were piercing their dead bodies and eating them. It's an insult that your father's body and with all his armies were eaten by horrible beings like vultures and crows, meaning your father did not even get a royal or a nice cremation. Dirty birds like vultures and crows ate their body. And likewise, Makaraksha, today the vultures and crows will eat your dead body also. Makaraksha started shooting volleys of arrows on Sri Ramachandra. And even before the arrows could come anywhere near them, Ramachandra, with his bow and arrows, tore off every arrow that Makaraksha was shooting. And each arrow was being split into many pieces, so the entire battlefield ground was filled with broken pieces of Makaraksha's arrows. And as they are fighting, they are walking closer to each other. Makaraksha is on his chariot coming closer to Sri Ramachandra. Ramachandra walking on the battlefield, moving towards Makaraksha. They are not backing off. What a fight. And Makaraksha, every time he would stretch his bow and release an arrow, the string of the bow would twang. It's called Janada, Janada. And Ramachandra's bow, we heard last time when we met, the twang of Ramachandra's bow was heard above the clamor of the Rakshasas and the Vanaras. Now, when Ramachandra is fighting like this and Makaraksha is fighting like this, the Devatas, the Danavas, the Gandharvas, Kinnaras, all of them left what they were doing and were hovering in the sky to watch. It was like India-Pakistan match. Everybody stopped to watch it. I don't necessarily want to assign this is India, that's Pakistan. I'm just giving as a more relatable example. Okay. And Makaraksha was shooting and intercepting Ramachandra's arrows, and Ramachandra was splitting Makaraksha's arrows, and this fight was going on, and all around all four areas of the battlefield were covered with arrows, which means while they are fighting, they're also moving and circling and fighting. And there were so many arrows that Valmiki says the earth, the ground itself could not be seen because it was covered on all four directions. Vasudha chaiva samantanva na prakashate. You could not see the bare ground. It was all covered with arrows or broken pieces of arrows. Finally, Ram Tatha Kruddo Mahabahur Dhanur Nishcheda Samyuge. In the fight, Ramachandra shot such a powerful arrow that Makaraksha's bow split and broke. Ashtabhiratha Narashchay Sutam Vivyadha Raghava. And Ramachandra sent 8 arrows and shot or pierced the chariot driver of Makaraksha. Um, and then Ramachandra shot more arrows and completely shattered the chariot. So horses are gone, the chariot is gone, chariot driver is gone, his own bow has been broken. So Makaraksha did not have a bow and just stood on the ground now. Now the fight has become level. He had an advantage. He was on the chariot with all his weapons, and now he only has some weapons, but he's standing on the ground. So Ramachandra leveled the playing field, as they say. So Makaraksha took his pike, which is like a spear, and when he raised that spear, everybody got scared. Oh my gosh. Brandishing the great flaming pike, Parigha. Everybody became scared, and it was such a pike that no one could touch it. It was this formidable weapon. It was gifted to him by none other than Rudra, Lord Shiva, the god of destruction. Imagine the god of destruction giving a weapon, what kind of power it will have. And he lifted it and released it towards Sri Ramachandra. Everyone thought, this might kill Ramachandra. But as it is coming towards Sri Ramachandra, He released a whole bunch of arrows and split that entire pike into many, many pieces. Although it was decked with gold and jewels, it fell onto the ground into multiple pieces. When that happened, all the sage, not sages, the celestial beings, they loudly cried, "Oh, very good! Sadhu, sadhu iti bhutani. Vyaharanti Nabhogata. Nabhogata, the who were all come to the sky to watch this, they were all cheering Sri Ramachandra. Now, Makaraksha is not given up. He looks at Ramachandra and says, "No, wait, let's fight, let's fight." And he's still approaching Sri Ramachandra. Now Ramachandra starts to laugh even more loudly. Satam drashtva patantam tu prahasya raghunandanam pavakastram tato ramah sandade tu sharasane. Sharasana. He lifted an arrow, invoked Agni. So it became Pavakastram. Agneyastram, same thing. Pavaka. Pavaka was mounted on Ramachandra's bow and was released towards Makaraksha. That Agneya or Pavakastra was so powerful that even before Makaraksha could realize what was happening, it cut off his head. And the head and the entire torso or body fell down on the ground immediately, and Makaraksha died. When the Rakshasas, who were all loudly crying and shrieking and yelling, thinking they're going to be victorious, when they saw Makaraksha, poof, head and body separated, they immediately retreated back straight into Lanka. All the gods and celestial beings who saw the son of Khara being killed became very, very happy and rejoiced. Girim iva vajrahatam yatha vikiranam. The head was separated like the mountain peak that is separated when there is a strike of lightning on a mountain. And with that, we end chapter 79 of Yuddha Kanda. Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmikiye Adikavye Yuddha Kande Ekonashititamaha Sargaha. 1 less than 80. Eka Una Shiti. 1 less than 80. 79 chapters are done. Hare Krishna. Sita Rama Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki jai. Any thoughts? We have a few minutes. It's already 9:30 for me. So we'll take maybe one comment or something, or comment, question, whatever.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Karthik Jaraman here from Nepal.
Yes, Karthik. Wow. Hey, how are you? Nice to hear your voice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. My question was about the rasas you were describing, and I wanted to know what rasas can be used to realize and worship Sri Krishna.
All the rasas, because Sri Krishna is called Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Akhila Rasa Amrita Murti. Krishna experiences all the rasas, and his devotees also experience all the rasas in relation to him. So when Krishna is fighting Narakasura, uh, Kamsa, Shishupala, these are all Virya Rasa combined with Bhaya, Bhayanaka or Ghora also are there. Bhivatsa, Ghora, Bhivatsa. They're mixed because there's all that happening, and people are relating with Krishna like that. The demons primarily have Bhayanaka and Bhivatsa Rasa. They're scared and they fight with him, so there is Virya. But for us, we always take shelter of primarily Dasya Rasa. That is the one that inspires the devotees. But we read, and it inspires us when we read how Krishna battles the demons. And so we experience those rasas in relation, not that Krishna and we have to fight. When Krishna is fighting, when we read it, we hear it in the descriptions of the acharyas, we experience those rasas. So they're all are included and important. Just the way a meal should have all six rasas, like that, our bhakti, we experience all the 12 rasas. We may not experience conjugal necessarily. When I say experience 12, it may not be, but our experience is vicarious. We hear Krishna's interactions with Rukmini, Satyabhama, Gopis, Radharani. So we vicariously experience conjugal rasa. Okay. But our main rasa that we develop is Dasya. I am a servant of Krishna. I am a servant of Sri Ramachandra. Dasoham Kosalendrasya. Hanuman is our teacher in that sense of Dasya Rasa. How to become, we are, but how to realize and live as a servant of the Lord. All right, Karthik?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, let's pause here. We will meet again and we will continue from here. Indrajit will enter the battle, or he will do something to make the battle even more intense. Until then, we meditate on the wonderful chest of Sri Hanuman, that when Nikumba's mighty gada fell on it, was shattered to pieces. So we hear in Hanuman Chalisa that he is Vajrangi. Vajra, we in North India they call him Bajrangi. In Samskrita is same, but it is Vajra Anga, that his limbs are as strong as thunderbolt or like diamond, Vajra, very, very strong. They don't shatter easily. And we hope that Hanumanji will shatter with his Vajranga all the impediments between us and Sri Sitarama. So we may go to them in a safe and joyful way. And when Sri Ramachandra shoots these arrows, aha, how confident we become that our anarthas, the Makaraksha, the type demons, are vanquished by Sri Ramachandra. Shri Shri Sitarama Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai.